I wasn't expecting people. Hello, Mr. Andrea. I am very fine, thank you, but I am very angry. So I will start today my channel in English. Everybody, I know that nobody knows me, and I also know that my accent is very poor right now in English, but it doesn't matter. I have been working. My name is Paola, and I am American, but I have been living all my life, South American, but I have been living all my life in Italy, some years, and then I came back to America, and then I came back to Italy. So then I stopped in Italy, and I have been dealing a lot with the Middle East also, and the Balkan, many things. So I have been working on YouTube as a critic of Islam. And I think that right now my situation has been changing. And I think that it will be more and more difficult for me to work in Italy. So I'm trying to launch my channel in English. And I want to take the opportunity. Yes, oh my, devo stare attenta a quello. I can do the parody of Francesca Albanese. And I want to start with a thing, but I am not checking if my microphone is everything working. And then we will see my participation to a television program. Parody of Francesca Albanese. Oh minchia, sembro Renzi. Tu ricordi Renzi? Quando era andato dagli arabi, mi sa. But we have to talk in English. Okay, so I went to this television, and the channel is very famous. All Italy knows that channel, and I have been talking to some Muslims from Egypt. Egypt is not my favorite country in all the Islamic world. I don't know if you know something about. I have 3 watchers, spectators. Now let me see. 3 people are watching. Okay, so I am a tiger. I cannot tolerate the Muslims when they lie and they tease people. So let's see the situation. The situation in Italy is very bad, but not maybe like England or Germany, for example, France. So in Italy we can save things for me, in my opinion. Let's hope. And che cazzo volevo dire? Mi sto perdendo. Oddio, che difficile, chi me l'ha fatto fare? Yeah, there was a Ramadan, and as everybody know, sorry, the door, I have to close the door. So at the end of Ramadan, the Muslims, they do the public prayer, and they put women in cages. It is not just a separation between men and women for a ritual, a religious habit. It is not that. The Quran says that Muslim men are superior to Muslim women, as everybody knows. So they put also the last year, they were praying all men, and then women not in cages, with a separation. So let's see the. Come faccio a mettere l'audio? I will put the sound in English. Chi me l'ha fatto fare? Yeah, rock on. Ok. Che cazzo devo schiacciare? Also, subscribe to the channel and thumb up, comment, and do what you want. Okay, now let's see the program.
After the controversy of the past years in which we showed you Muslim women praying in separate enclosures during the end of Ramadan celebration, we are back again this year, and things have not changed, We are in Rome, in Tor Pignatara. The women are once again enclosed in an enclosure. You see how much smaller the space is compared to the one for the men. Why is there a wall? The one to separate women from men. Because of purity? It is a sin if you look at men and women. Yes, maybe a bit distracting. Why do you pray separately? Because God and the Quran are separate. So why are you in an enclosure? Yes?
Yes. Our Quran is written like that.
But because if you see a woman, you get distracted.
Of course.
Maybe if she is beautiful, her eyes go there.
She speaks Italian. Even though I have been here for many years, most of the women do not speak Italian, and many even seem to have permission from their husbands to be able to answer us. The women are separated in that enclosure.
Yeah.
Because
the areas are like this, separate. When there's a woman praying, they have to be separate. They have to be...
Can I ask her?
Yes, it's the same.
No, it's not the same. I want her opinion, not his.
No, that's enough.
Don't you want... But if here women pray in their compound to remain sheltered from the male gaze, in Merano, in South Tyrol, an association forbids bringing them to the prayers at the end of Ramadan. Look, it's forbidden to bring women. But the disparity between men and women in Islam is not only evident on these great occasions of prayer. We return to the Torpin. In Yatara district, there are no women. Around, practically, it's almost all men. Hi. I wanted to ask you some questions about the role of women. Is the man or the woman in charge?
No, she's in charge.
Can your wife work?
No.
No.
Everyone works, okay? Everyone leaves their body for me, okay? Our religion, Islam, women is something like candy.
Look, this is closed. No, my Islam is like this. This woman. I'll close this. Everyone eats everything. They like it because it's good.
It's like an object then.
Yes.
A banana.
Well,
If I peel it, you can make it.
she won't buy it because it's peeled.
Well, because it's peeled, you can't make it.
But a woman is not a banana.
I bought this for myself. I bought it for myself.
I can't give it to him. Bought it for me. This is private.
Okay, but apart from the fact that this is an onion and a woman is not an onion.
I know that a woman is an onion.
These things, someone looks at a woman badly, someone looks carefully.
We can't choose who looks well at someone who looks badly.
It's better that we look, not look.
Ah, but let's put it in the pen.
Oh, of course.
Really?
Well,
Okay, so I'm sorry, I had a little problem in the audio. So that was the beginning of the program in television, and now you saw a part of Rome. Rome is the capital of Italy, you know, and I'm not sure that many Muslims are there because, for example, they are mostly from Bangladesh. I have a little problem with the Arabs, and for example, the Arabs are mainly in the north of Italy, instead Rome is in the south. So Milan, Turin, basically, Turin is Middle East, pure Middle East. If you don't want to go to the Middle East, but you would like to have the Middle Eastern atmosphere, go to Turin. Milan, I don't know, because I am not very, I don't go out very much when I am in Italy, and now I moved from Italy, so I am, I don't know the situation. So now let's see the beginning of, this is a very famous man, journalist. His name is Paolo Del Debbio. And you are reading End of Ramadan, the prayer just for men. It is forbidden to take women to the public prayer.
Then, first of all, thanks to Flavia and Aishi for the service. Welcome, Francesca Carollo.
Hello, Paolo. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Aftan Abdel Ghani.
Hello.
Ah, yeah. He's from Egypt.
Welcome to Paola Kafira, writer.
That is me.
Aftan, on the other hand, is an entrepreneur. Welcome to Sami Salemi, Imam of the Magliana Mosque in Rome.
And this is one of the most famous imam in Italy. He's from Egypt too. I have a special... well, I don't like the Egyptians.
And welcome to my colleague, Pietro Sinaldi.
And he's a journalist from a newspaper. The name is Libero. The problem is that sometimes they want to speak about, they want to talk about Islam, but they don't, for me, they should write in a better way. So I don't have admiration for this kind of journalists, even when they are, let's say, when they want to criticize Islam. But this is not the point. The point is that the Muslims, they lie. And I have a special intolerance towards lying.
So, let's start with Sinaldi. But this has already happened, right? And it can happen, it has happened again, right? The story of isolation. Now, say, religious right. As a religious right can be carried out in various ways depending on how the religion is defined. The point is, if I want to have women on the other, that's not the issue. It's a matter of fundamental religious freedom. The thing is that those guys' words instead breach human rights, and they contravene the civil rights that have been established in Italy.
Now, just before...
And that's not right.
Just before the Egyptian number one starts to talk, let's say that here the Italian journalist, he's very good, and he's very well, I don't know, but he's very good. And the point is that he says, as Islam is a religion with the label of religious freedom, you can do basically whatever you want. And he's trying to say that it is not, the problem is not the separation, the problem is the superiority of men against women. And this is very important to keep in mind, because according to this kind of thinking, I can be beheaded because it is their religious freedom. So the point in Italy, for example, is that the people could not distinguish between this ideology, which is, of course, not a religion, and a normal religion. So it doesn't matter if it is a religion, because in that case, you should grant people the right to rape. For example, Muslim men, they can rape women. They can behead the infidels. They can rape little children. And so, no, they can kill Jews. We are going to talk about the Jews a lot. When I was working in Italy, anytime I would open my mouth, I was talking about the Jews, because I was working 1 year before October the 7th. Then October the 7th took place. And so I've been dealing with the Jews basically all years. So it is impossible that Islam is a religion. And in any case, you cannot behead the people, for example, because your religion says so. So it is very painful. And he wanted to start in a good way. Then this kind of journalist replies something, but they say nothing. And there is this woman. Now, can you imagine that woman in El Cairo? Because at some point, all the women, Muslim women, were against me. Everybody. She, the black. Then there is a Cappuccetto Bianco, white Muslim woman, and then the Imam from Egypt. Do you know that the Gazans, they are a product of Egypt? The Gazan people, they are the worst people in the world, not just because they are Palestinians. The Palestinians, they are the worst people in the world, but especially the Gazans, they are Egyptians. So I don't, it's like, I don't know. No.
Me as well when he justified their confinement with the claim we put them in cages to protect them, from people's gaze. Because we cannot know for certain whether that gaze will be kind or cruel. Yeah. However, I'm wondering why. I mean, the Imam, why doesn't she go to jail for once and let the women be free? Since for you it's normal for gender equality, if you believe that women are equal to men, one time they go in the cage, the other time you go in the cage, the other time. It would also seem fair to me, let's say.
I don't know if you can catch the sense of humor. This kind of journalist, he told to the Egyptian Imam, if it is just a matter of separation, why don't you men go into the cage and women stay outside and free? But this is when he starts to lie.
Wives. So it's not an act of puli If he understood it like this is his mentality, this is his capacity for religion.
The problem is that he's not the only one. The problem is that 99 out of 100.
So this is the first lie they always say. What do they think? They think that Italians, every Italian in Italy is an idiot, because I go crazy because of this. I cannot even express myself in English properly. In my language and in Italian, I would be more, I'm sorry, I have to smoke right now, because anytime they open the door, their mouth, they say always the same things. So, excuse me, tanto non c'è nessuno che sta guardando. Allora, anytime, for example, I went to a debate with this Egyptian imam, even some months ago, I think it was October or September, and he was telling the same thing. Those Muslims, for example, you are interviewing a Muslim in the street, and the Muslim in the street says, oh yes, I can beat my wife because Allah told me so. I don't give a fuck about Italian law. This is what they are telling to the microphone, because they are not very clever as a people, let's say. And then the Imam in television, he says, they are ignorant. You cannot blame Islam for this. It's their fault because they are ignorant. This is something they always always say. And they are so tiring.
Understand it like this. So, no, then maybe 1%?
It's not 99%.
As for this prayer we offered at the end of Ramadan, we held it in the sports field, if you will. But importantly, we were all together. Yet, certainly, there's a moment of birur, and as a rule, the men's prayer time involves the women being, without a doubt, separated from the men. And I believe that they don't get. Let me finish my idea. Come on.
Yes, okay.
Okay, normally speaking, once the prayer is finished and they're together, it shouldn't be a problem.
And then, in our case, the problem is the imam's cage. The problem is not separating them, as the imam said. The problem is the cage. Because you put animals in the cage, right? They understood that, but this is not religion, and this is the difference between Islam.
It
and
is
these customs,
nothing to do with Islam. If you want to beat women, you can, but nothing to do with Islam. Do you want to kill Jews? It will be the greatest decision of your life, but it has nothing to do with Islam. Do you want to rape women? Yes, you can go, please go. But that has nothing to do with Islam. Do you want to kill a bunch of Christians? Yes, please go, but that has nothing to do with Islam. Do you want to do the suicide bomber? Because in the Quran there is also the martyrdom concept. Yes, please go, destroy everything. But that has nothing to do with Islam. I am fed up with these lies. I don't understand how can they lie so much. Now, after some minutes now, I speak with the Egyptian women.
These customs and mosques. It will be those who profess women's rights. I am not discussing Ibn alone, so there's no point in me staying here.
Come on. No, but let's talk. Okay, so I'm talking about this. We are the source of our faith. To the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was the Prophet himself who organized this directly within his own mosque. Yes, inside his mosque there was absolutely no distinction whatsoever between men, women, or children. All were united together. Men positioned at the front during the prayer period with the men in front and the women in back.
Do you know why this kind of debates, even in television, they fail? They fail because the people who, because the people trying to run the program, they don't want to quote the Islamic text. The Islamic texts are the Quran, where Allah is speaking. Second, Muhammad, he's speaking, let's say, in the Sunnah. This is it. That is Islam. Or Allah or Muhammad. It is very easy to understand the truth. For example, if you open the Quran in chapter 4, it is said, Allah says, men are in charge of women, like I am in charge of my cats. Do you have a dog? You are in charge of your dog. In Italian, it is also different, the words. So I hope ¿cómo se dice esta en inglés? La pegué. Bueno, I hope I spoke correctly. So, if you have a program in television, you can say, this is what the Imam is saying, and this is what Paola is saying. Who is telling the truth? Let's go to the text. Men are in charge of women. So in this case, the Imam, of course, he's lying. And he also mentioned Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like, why do they do this? Because they know that Italians, they don't know the life of Muhammad. Muhammad was a rapist. He raped everybody. And he was a dangerous person. He was robber. Wow, cazzo. ¿Cómo se dice ladro? Ladrón. He used to steal. Robbery, rapist, child abuser. So I don't know why they keep on doing this program like this.
Okay, fine. I've got a way of getting organized, we could say, when it comes to prayer. Well, after prayer, they are usually together. Like during the party, the same thing during prayer is this. This is a ritual, let's say, bracha bram, let's say, right? They are often a step behind, even on the street. In what sense? Well, in Islam, women are a step behind. If she only takes this, if she takes it, it's true that you veil them, it's not that you veil yourselves.
Can you imagine
The woman
this
stood behind, but
woman? Can you imagine this woman? She was, I'm sorry, I hope she's not listening. A monster. Right now, for example, I'm not very beautiful, okay, because I woke up, I was angry, and I said, I'll start another channel, okay. But she was, here you could not see the eyes, because she has fake this hair fake. So she was, I think my cat, if you take la coda of my cat and put the coda here, you become like that woman. Also, she was very strange. She was very strange. Like this, she was talking like this, and she was telling me, oh no, women in Islam, they are very good. Are you fucked up in the head? At some point, I was crazy, and I screamed against her, go to Afghanistan, like, dressed like this. Ma figurati se mi devo sentire prendere per il culo da una che they are the beginning of the Gazans. No. Can you now look at her. This is desperation, because if a man sees you, you are not beautiful to that man. You are scaring him. Se vayan para la mierda todo. Aparte de Egipto.
Woman bowing down, right? And it is a moment of, exactly, and it is a moment of high spirituality. What?
She said that in mosque or during the prayer you have to separate the men and women. Otherwise, when you bow like this, the man will be distracted. This is so stupid. It is so stupid. And she is saying that the Muslim men, they are like animals. Of course, it is so stupid. I cannot tolerate this. And, and she said, it is a great moment of spirituality. Yes, please, Allah, behead them. Yes, kill the infidels. Kill wherever you find them. Beat women. Rape children. Rape the infidels. Kill all the Jews. Please, Allah. Great spirituality. Vayan para la mierda esa tipa también, por favor.
What happened where it happened is an organizational problem where at that time there are improvised spaces where they had to put this, I put this. But it is an exaggeration of something created by them. Nowhere in the text does it indicate that
they, or more specifically, the imam who led that particular prayer, created it.
Created by them.
Unfortunately, it is not the first time there. It is not an isolated case.
But the issue, forgive me, is that you consistently minimize these instances. There's invariably a justification presented for a woman's submission in any form. I am ecstatic about.
She's a journalist. I think that she's very good, but I could not understand when the program ended. She went with the Muslim women. They were quarreling, they were fighting during the program. And then when the program ended, they took a selfie like this with the mobile, all three together. like this. I was enraged. I was begging my friend to take me to drink alcohol because I could sense here I had the vein exploding. I could not take a selfie with the Egyptians. So it was strange. I said, what is, are we doing a farce? What is this? We are playing a role? I'm not playing any role. I am very concerned for the Muslim women in the Islamic countries, for the Jewish women, for the Christian women, for the grooming gangs, for all the little children. Should I take a selfie with them? So the journalist, I think that she's good. I don't know where maybe she works in television, I don't remember. But it is not a farce. This is very important. They are taking over Europe. I'm not taking a selfie with them with like this. Then what is this kind of fashion? That is just to put pictures in Instagram. I am a tiger, and they think about Instagram.
These girls, if you go and talk to girls, they are girls who live in a westernized society, who go to school and want to live like other girls, but unfortunately, they live torn apart inside. Because on the one hand, they see us, and on the other, they are influenced by their families who have educated them with your religion, your culture, and that they, some way, feel they must honor and respect religion. And so they live with great inner suffering, and yet on the one hand, they also have to trust their families, so much so that those who run away, then their families try to get them back.
Muslim law.
Now, it's incredible, but there is an interview to a Muslim man in Rome, I think, and he says, I don't care about Italian laws. Sharia law is superior. We know it, she's right. And she's also honest and sincere. One Muslim, one honest Muslim in the world, we have it in Italy. And he says, yes, I can beat my wife. I usually beat my daughter, for example. And after that, finally, the conductor, the journalist gives microphone to me, and I can talk a bit, but a bit, because I was a river. I could talk hours and scream hours. Vado a fanculo. Tu guarda se si dovranno prendere.
We are equal.
But in reality,
Before God, we are equal. However, if the wife or woman has done something wrong, she can beat her.
but what is it that the wife does wrong? I mean, what is the wrong thing that the wife does to get beaten?
If you tell me that she's talking to other men, going out and doing other things that.
So I take
I can beat my wife, he said, and he also said, I usually beat my daughter.
it and let it have
Now the journalist, he says to the police to go and check him.
the fate it deserves, that is, that of a person if it were a Christian or a Jew, it would make no difference to me, huh? I would have said exactly the same things. So it's not a question, of course. I note that it's easier. And I note that going around, like Marano, they officially wrote that women do not participate in the end of Ramadan, which ended, as you know, not long ago, and that it is the holiday. And, well, now there's no point in me explaining to you what Ramadan is, Ali, and what Ramadan is. You know it. And if you don't, go to Wikipedia and look it up. He hasn't learned anything about Ramadan, about the month of Ramadan. Month of
means that he hasn't learned anything about the month of Ramadan yet. It is a month of mercy, of tenderness, of peace, and instead he is talking about something completely outside of the faith, completely out of the, But you are the spendable face of Islam.
Ramadan is the month of jihad because it is the month in which you have to express your devotion towards Allah. And what does Allah want from you? He wants jihad. So anything is a jihad. If I want to do a jihad fi sabilillah, I can open a YouTube channel where I speak apologetically for Islam. That is jihad. If I want Sharia law in my neighborhood, I go and I say to people that women shouldn't go out with the normal clothes, or that you shouldn't sell alcohol. That is jihad. Of course, jihad is also a violent means, and you can kill people. It is not the month of tenderness, as the Egyptians say.
Islam. But when you leave the studio, do these things happen here? Doesn't what she says happen? I find them and I stop them. I make them stop. How? But do you think that if I am someone who is speaking like this on behalf of, let's say, her husband, think that, many people who speak like this person, since you are an imam, I think that you know more than one person as a person. He absolutely forbids anyone from uttering such words. As he thus condemns the faith itself, he condemns my religion outright. But there are many, it's not just him, there are many imams who tolerate this thing.
The law of Allah is superior. He says that the law of Allah is superior to the law, but he doesn't
know the law of Allah, but he doesn't know the law of Allah. And this is our source of Islam, the history, the life of the Prophet. The life of the Prophet, he never raised his hands against a woman.
like him.
But what does Islam have to do with this case, Paola Kafira?
So what we have seen, unfortunately, is a very typical dynamic. There are Muslims who like to underestimate the average intelligence of Italians, and then there are the sincere ones. For instance, the footage we saw regretfully on television coverage showed a level of...
Oh my. Now, let's take the Quran. Where is it? So, this is... I wanted to say a very important thing, but I am so ugly with the English dubbing. The Quran. Okay. So, 4. Verse 30. I think it is this. I'm not sure. Tafsir, wrote, Sadit. Let me check if you are seeing. You see not on the page. Let me try this or this. Chapter 4, verse 34. Men are in charge of women because Allah has made the one, the man, to excel the other. Allah made men superior to women, and because they spend on their property, so good women, blah, 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 blah. Now, let's go to see the tafsir. Men are in charge of overseeing the proper conduct of women. So you are, look, the men stand over the women through that with which God, with Allah, has preferred some of them over the others. Have you ever imagined the bad work that Allah did, because Allah created the Jews, monkeys and the pigs. I don't know which kind of religion can say that, only Islam. Then Allah created the Christians. Then Allah created the women inferior. Then Allah created dogs. Do you know that you can kill even black dogs according to Islam? Mi faranno uscire di testa. So I wanted to say this in English, but dubbed, I don't like myself.
Sincerity that was striking in the Quran, which is the direct word of Allah Ta'ala, in verse 34 of chapter 4. Domestic violence is sanctioned that a husband can use against his wife.
Yes. What I was telling after this is this. Now let me go back here. Okay. No. Okay. After that, we have domestic violence. Vaffanculo. No, I don't know why. Here. No, esto es en español. Vaffanculo. No, io vado fuori di testa adesso. I will become crazy.
Allah, which is the one that then goes on to justify this separation. It is the man's responsibility to lead the women. This means that men must manage women as Allah's preference lies with the men, placing them above women as slaves. This is clearly stated, and unfortunately, it is incorrect.
This is absolutely not true.
It's absolutely not like that. So
It's not like that, I'm sorry.
so look, Islam is not like that.
This is a correct translation. You did.
Give me the correct translation for this
So here I said a verse of the Quran. And then the Egyptian woman, the black one, she said, no, you don't have the right translation. What is this translation? Now I couldn't find it on the web, but the verse says, ammonite quelle di cui temete l'insubordinazione. You have to warn women, your wives. If you fear that maybe they will be in the future disobedient to you and not dependent on you, keep them by themselves in their beds. Lasciatele sole nei letti, battetele, beat them. Why I don't find the Quran? Perché mi fanno diventare scema. Allora, Quran in English. Quran in English. The Noble Quran. Thank you so much. Navigate the Quran. An-Nisa 34. Eccola qua. Ah no, questo è di nuovo in... perché me lo dà? Fatiha. Women. Ok. Tu guarda, chi dovevano far entrare? How is it in English? Oh. Found it. Okay. Men are the protectors and maintainers of women. It means that women are not independent. As Allah has given some of them an advantage over others, it is even worse in English. And the good women are obedient, guarding what Allah would have them guard. As for those from whom you fear disloyalty, admonish them and abandon them in their beds, then strike them. But if they obey you, seek no way against them. Allah is sublime great. So I said to the black woman from Egypt, maybe she has parents in Gaza. I said this verse, and she said, no, it is not as you said. I don't know who gave you these translations. And I replied, I know that also in Arabic. So please give me the correct verse of the Quran. And she told nothing. She was watching like this towards me, and she did like this.
Translation.
No, because I also know it in Arabic.
Let's see which is the correct translation. So look, then we can say one thing. We know that in order to understand Islam, we must get to the point of interpreting the Quran. The Quran is the Quran, a complete system. We can't rip out a verse. Let's say akka. We have to share it and rip it out completely away from the verse before or after ahagatu shipajuleu. This is a complete entire system. That's why for us to interpret the Quran, the Italian vocabulary is 160,000 words, while the Arabic vocabulary is 12 million lienliki.
So, where am I? I don't know where I am. Okay, so he said that in Arabic you have 20 million of words. In Italian, we have less words, and so what? Well, first of all, it is not the truth, because I studied Arabic a bit, and then I gave up because it was making me vomit. I was sick after I discovered Islam. At the beginning, I was loving the Arabic language. I was writing, and then I wanted to vomit. So it is not true that the Arabic language is, they always say this, the Arabic language is more beautiful, we have more words. And so what? If you wrote in the Quran that you can beat women, you can beat women in any language. And this is a special kind of lying. They have more than one. And people usually say that there is only, they say takia, takia, takia. Everybody knows takia, but it is more complex. It is a phenomenon. It is a dynamics, very complex. And it is not just takia. For example, when they talk about the Arabic language, their main goal is to make you become an idiot because they talk a lot and they make a confusion between, I don't know, English and Arabic, Italian and Arabic. And so at the end of the conversation, you are like this. You don't trust yourself because your common sense tells you, I don't know the Arabic language, so maybe it's me. Maybe I did not understand. Instead, it is tactics to win. Basically, you have, do you remember when they sing to snakes? It is a folkloristic thing for tourists. I don't know, in India and those places. They sing, and it is false because I don't think that the snake can listen to the music. But it's the same goal. You become an idiot because you listened to too many words and they confuse you. Of course, during the program, I know all the things, but I cannot speak because there are other people, and the person who conducts the program is not me to speak.
A small part of the Quran, we must be able to understand all of Arabic Quranic. More than that, we must understand the entire story of the Prophet.
But look, man, this translation here comes from really silly. It was done by a great expert in the Arabic language. I mean, after the Hadili, Haimbu, I mean, it's not like they studied it for years and translated it for years and translated it by a committee, among other things, which included many people from the Islamic religion, and they translated it, and it became a version that is circulating in Italy, Hayabu. It's a green book. I remember it perfectly because I got a bit bored with it. In fact, a lot, in fact, much more than some imali there. And in fact, I could be the imam for those who heard, and so perhaps I'll stand as a candidate. And so perhaps I'll stand as a candidate.
Yes, Paolo, but I wanted to say something. He claims to be wise. He uses the word wise, emphasizing his studies, but even so, his interpretation cannot surpass that of the Prophet. That of the Prophet. However, turning to the Prophet's own interpretation
presents even greater difficulties. Because I now need to know the age of Muhammad and the age of IS.
You mentioned the...
Now, look, when he mentioned the founder of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, there is one thing that it is embarrassing all the Muslims, of course, all Islam, and that is the age of Aisha and the age of Muhammad. When he consummated the marriage, the child abuser, Aisha was 9. Maybe according to the calendar of the moon, she was even younger. Maybe she was 8 years old and some months old. And Muhammad was 54 or 53. I think 54. Can you imagine something like that? Can you imagine taking the Sunnah of Muhammad with this abuse behind as the basis of Islam? What's the basis of Islam? Child abuse. We cannot tolerate this. So, when the Egyptian says, what about the Prophet Muhammad? Because the Prophet Muhammad, he was very respectful towards women. I become a tiger and I said, I just asked the age of Muhammad and the age of Aisha, and he already knew the answer. I said nothing. I just made a question. And he started to reply something like, oh yeah, but it doesn't matter, in the old times that was the custom. Which custom? I haven't said that she was 9. This is the confirmation. They know what to reply. For any verse of the Quran, for any kind of criticism that you have, they already have the answers ready. I haven't said that Aisha was 9 years old, and I haven't said that Muhammad was 54 years old. But he's already replying, no, that was the custom of old ages. And you cannot take one verse out of the context. Well, why the context should be relevant? Why do they tease me? Why do they tease people? The context will be relevant if I have a book. In the book, it is written, beat women. But just before that verse, there is a sentence. And the sentence is, okay, guys, never do this. Never beat women. That is the context. There is not the context in the Quran. Mi faranno uscire pazza.
Prophet, You're welcome. But let's go back to the same story as yours. Let's talk about the Prophet. I agree, because I'm very knowledgeable about the Prophet. No. This was a different time. Even if there were some people, then you have to get into your head that you can't make fun of people, because sometimes the Quran has...
This was a different time. What? I haven't said that she was 9 years old.
to be interpreted. Sometimes they are wrong, sometimes we are wrong. Everyone is always wrong except violent Muslims. Except violent Muslims. They should... The Quran is clear. Islam is clear. And instead, if you want to misunderstand, that's the thing. The Quran... Excuse me, Imam, the Quran is clear, but reality is even clearer than the Quran. These women are in a cage. It's claimed by the Lord that if...
Now there is a Cappuccetto Bianco. Cappuccetto Bianco, she comes from Egypt, and she says that in Egypt everything is good for women. And if you have a couple of problems, well, it's the same problems that we have in Italy as women. No difference between Italy and Egypt. So Cappuccetto Bianco, it means a white, this, hoodie. No, I don't remember. Oh, non mi sono manco pettinata. Vabbè, dai. Tanto non c'è nessuno. Ma tu guarda.
Well, let's say that the root is completely different. Yes, but excuse me, I don't remember the name right now. Look, Jasmine, the form is also the substance. That is to say, giving a woman an onion and saying that she bought it is already an argument that one makes. You are grasping at straws. I am grasping at straws. All the metaphors we've heard in these interviews then demonstrate a substance in the facts. That is, words have weight. Okay, you're right. Yes, but it demonstrates a sense of belonging, not Islam. I mean, I'm a jealous man. The woman is mine, but not precisely because of form and respect. That's the respect of a man. That's the respect of a man. Sad truth is that this society still promotes arranged marriages, offering a substantial dowry as an incentive. Oh. Women consequently are compelled to marry relatives significantly older, 20 years in some cases, whom they've never even met.
We can't fight like this, because the other journalists, they don't know the Islamic sources, the Quran and the Sunnah, and I cannot talk, because how could I talk right now? I should have screamed. They were talking. So...
To go, for example, to Tahrir Square in Cairo, Egypt, with those heels, those jeans, and say that you have the same value as a man, what would happen to you and you?
Nothing would happen at all. But I want to understand, but do you watch television or not? The world has traveled so far, hasn't it? I mean, here in Egypt, we have actresses. I go to Egypt and they are normal. There are people. In fact, I wear the veil, but there are other girls who don't wear them, okay? Yeah. And we are safe and we don't have any problems. And we live the same life. And
So everything in Egypt is okay. And did you know why I mentioned Tahrir Square? Because there is a phenomenon in Islam, and it is called the Taharrush Gamea or Jamai or Gabal in Egypt. I call it Taharrush to be easy. So Taharrush is a phenomenon in Islamic countries and also in Europe right now. It is a form of Sharia. It is an abuse of women to impose a Sharia law, because women cannot go out of their house without the mahram. Al mahram is the male guardian. When there was the Arab Spring in Egypt, everything exploded and the Muslim Brotherhood took a lot of power. So there was a famous journalist from South Africa, if I'm not wrong, and I think that her name is Lara Logan, and she was abused by hundreds of men in Tahrir Square. After that, she came back home. I don't know how she survived. She was molested with sticks to clean your house. Well, let's see if there is the video. I think that there is. I don't know how to search for it, but there is. Allora, Lara Logan Taharrush Gaba. Okay. There was the no, let me say. She is the one. She was raped with sticks. Can you imagine? And she survived. When she came back to the West, I think that she is a South African. And everybody starts to talk about Taharrush. But there was Tahrir Square. And that is just the beginning. I don't know if...
Con le nuove categorie di...
Well, everybody starts to talk about this. Before, I think that maybe this kind of phenomenon was famous, unfortunately. But in Europe, my feeling is that we started to talk about this only after her, the violence against her.
To get to the square. I got to be there because this is a moment in history that you don't want to miss.
What does it look like?
It looks like a party.
Look!
It's a roar of sound because everyone's so excited and they're singing songs of the revolution and they're shouting slogans. And everybody's, very physical. So you're being jostled and pushed, and sometimes people get closer, and my guys are very protective.
Look now. She's, in few seconds, the light went off.
They want to keep people at bay. It was impossible not to get caught up in the moment, which was a real moment of celebration.
Tell me about your team.
Our producer was Max McClellan. My cameraman was Richard Butler.
Baha works for us.
We had a local fixer, Baha, whose job was to bridge the divide for us as foreigners. We had 2 Egyptian drivers with us who were purely there to act as security and bodyguards. And then we had a security person, Ray, who's done security all over the world. This is what these people have been waiting for. They came here day after day. This is about freedom.
She reported without a hint of trouble for more than an hour.
And what happened then?
Our camera battery went down. And we had to stop for a moment, and suddenly Baha looks at me and says, "We've got to get out of here." Baha is not happy here?
He's Egyptian, he speaks Arabic, and he can hear what the crowd is saying.
Yes.
He understands what no one else in the crew understands.
That's right. I was told later that they were saying, "Let's take her pants off." And it's like suddenly, before I even know what's happening, I feel hands grabbing my breasts, grabbing my crotch, grabbing me from behind. I mean, it's not, you know, one person and then it stops. It's like one person and another person and another person. And I know Ray is right there and he's grabbing at me and screaming, "Lara, hold on to me, hold on to me."
As she was pulled into the frenzy, the camera recorded her shout.
And I'm...
Okay, I don't like when there is violence against women, so I stopped that video. I already know his kind of testimony. Everybody knows this. This is why to Cappuccetto Bianco, to the white hijab women from Egypt, I mentioned Tahrir Square. That was a nightmare. And that is just the beginning of the iceberg. How can you say that in English? La punta dell'iceberg. It is just the beginning. This is something that the West knew thanks to Lara Logan, who was not only a survivor, but she was also the courage in person. And now you, Cappuccetto Bianco, white hijab, only because you live in Italy, you can avoid to care for the Egyptian women because you live here. This is very hypocrisy for them. It's incredible their level of hypocrisy. Riesco manco a parlare, tanto mi fanno incazzare.
As you in the West, only that we are from the island, yet these cases, however, these cases did occur. But they also happen, yes, but they also happen here in Italy by Italians. What does that mean? But don't femicides also happen here? They certainly have a different root, but okay.
Yes, but I mean, if I go to Egypt dressed like this, it's not normal. In fact, I am even more grateful because Egyptian women lie from Egypt. Instead, they talk about other conditions and ask us, Western women, for help because we're in Egypt. Do they make these things up?
Here I asked her, so are you saying that Egyptian women, they are lying when they talk about female genital mutilation? The situation about the female genital mutilation is so serious that Christian women, they are afraid of that. And they will tell you, no, Islam has nothing to do with that. What about Tarush Gamea? Islam has nothing to do with that. Why you as an Egyptian woman cannot even take the bus by yourself because you will be molested. No, Islam is nothing. It's like in Italy, we have the actresses. She replied, Cappuccetto Bianco, white hijab. Ah, per favore. Why life put me here? I am too nervous to deal with this. So, Cappuccetto Bianco keeps on. I have to shut up because everybody, they were screaming.
One day, if you want, we all go to Egypt in the summer. I'll show you around Egypt a bit. Let's see how things are. Then we'll come and talk. But I don't know. You seem like you...
So she said, doing like this, you could be my daughter and I could be your mother. And now she said, have you ever traveled the world? No, you did not. So if you want, during the summer, we will go together to Egypt. I have a light blue cappuccio. Oh, we will go together to Egypt because you never traveled the world. The arrogance, the arrogance. Ma puoi capire se una che potrebbe essere mia, non sa niente, non sa niente. No, I never traveled the world. I needed you to tell me to go to travel. Va, va, va.
Come and talk, but I don't know. You seem like you come from another world because it's not true. I'm there. I mean, your fellow countrymen. So they lie when they make reports. Check.
Everything.
There are people, I tell you, there are people.
Well, excuse me, I'm curious, you told me. If my husband leaves me, what does he owe me? Otherwise I'll say, if the opposite happens...
I leave him, he knows what the hell happens. He knows what happens. Sure, I don't have to stay with him because I have to stay with him.
Good.
Is it normal to speak like this? Even to Del Debbio, he's very famous in Italy, the journalist. Is it normal? What should I do? If my man beats me, if he betrays me. Can you just stay calm? Even because you want to suggest me to travel the world, and basically you are the half of my age. You can be my daughter. Can I take advice and suggestion from you, Cappuccetto Bianco? The hypocrisy. Mamma mia, che sclero. Adesso me lo metto pure io l'hijab per fare questi video qua. Tanto non c'è nessuno qua.
And here we hear from those who have suffered. Because Gerta is Albanian, she has been living in Italy for many years now, but
This is a very
unfortunately,
strong
when she was
testimony. This woman, she was kept in a locked. She was locked in a room by her husband in Albania when she was younger. And she was locked in the room for 17 years. Then she managed to escape. She tells all the story here in the television in front of all Italy, and they show no mercy for her. And then at some point, Cappuccetto Bianco, white hijab, she says, I am so sorry for you. And I begin to scream from the other side of the studio. I begin to scream, it is not the truth. You don't care for other women. You don't care what the infidels they think. Gli interessa solo del loro culo. Solo che I could not scream because the journalists, they were speaking. Ma puoi capire.
Encourage her. I have to encourage her to make sure she doesn't have to accept this, but she doesn't have to accept this condition.
No, we're talking about where the point is she doesn't have to accept this condition. Let's take stock.
Let's take stock. I mean, I still have a bastard. Don't even have the right to go out. Go out. Yes, I am Muslim, but I am a free Muslim.
Yes, but it doesn't matter how my mother minimizes a story like that. How can you minimize this woman's words? How dare you minimize them?
You're trying to condemn Islam in every way.
What do you mean? I'm a free Muslim. What does that mean?
I'm free because when I had a husband, I couldn't open the window.
You didn't say I was a free Muslim. Far from it. I'm so sorry about what happened.
See, but do we want to make her say I'm in prison? No. Oh, and then she got out of hell. You show no concern for what the faithful believe, and you...
Now the dubbing failed. I said a couple of sentences, but the dubbing was not perfect. So right now, of course, she was given to her husband in Albania, when she was a child, and she was handed to her future husband by her parents. So she was not able to escape in any case from the husband, her parents, his parents, everybody was, it was a deal for everybody. And so then the other Egyptian woman, the black one, she said something crazy, totally crazy.
Victim of, shall we say, many criminals. Her husband, her in-laws, and her parents. The parents themselves are delinquents. And then she's definitely the top, all my solution with them.
But Islam has nothing to do with it. It's important not to conflate Islam with
Islam
this
has
problem
nothing to
of
do
arranged
with that.
marriages. The issue arises within the religion itself, as the Quran condemns these unions. The caution from the fact that relatives are proposing.
Which verse?
Okay, you could not hear it, unfortunately, because the dubbing is not perfect. She said, in the Quran, there is a verse that says that you cannot do the combined marriage. What's the word in English? Matrimoni combinati. It's not combined. Arranged marriages, you cannot. And I take the word, I take the microphone. It was not my turn. And I began to ask which verse of the Quran tells that you have to avoid because it is forbidden to arrange a marriage. And she doesn't reply. Never, never. She says anything but cannot talk about that verse of the Quran, of course, because it is made up. Ma tu guarda che dovevo fare io.
Because I don't know it, but I know another verse? No, absolutely not. In our country, it says that one must marry for love. The problem is something else, it's honor. Okay? It implies a man absolutely needs a woman. He's mocking the Italian mentality. We're fed up. But that's not the case. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking...
And I say, please don't tease the Italian people, because they give for granted that Italians will never understand the truth. It's unbearable.
About something else. I'm talking about the problem of marriage. She brings me the verse from the Quran. You're nothing. Not problematic. I'm talking about another problem. I'm talking about the fact that I consider women an object because I marry them without love. That's the real problem. The verse from the Quran confirms that you're a person who makes fun of Italians. But you're a black belt in what? There are arranged marriages. Of course, if my husband doesn't love me, he won't treat me. What? Listen, I'm talking about culture here, not the Quran. The problem is that she loved her husband. Excuse me, she didn't love him. She met him on her wedding day. Excuse me, how can I marry a person? What? The verse? Don't make fun of people. I'm telling you that the problem with all these men who sometimes don't respect their women is not the Quran. It's not the Quran. It's the Quran. I'm marrying her because it's an arranged marriage because my family says she's fit for the figure, the honor, the talent. She's a respectable person. But they're girls that I know, my friends. This type of society is base and structured on the island. The island is used for this misogynistic society.
I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense like this in English, because as we were talking, we were screaming like crazy people. Everybody was screaming right now in that moment. So the dubbing failed and it doesn't make any sense. I was asking to the black woman Can you imagine if you go right now to Egypt with this dress, with this makeup? Go to Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, women cannot even go to the doctor. So why do you have to tease Italians? You have to tease the Muslim women? Why? You are a narcissist. There is no other way to explain this behavior unless you go to a psychiatric book, you study psychology, you study psychiatric, and you understand that this is not healthy. This is unsound. You are teasing everybody, and you can do this because you are in a Christian country, which is Italy. And I care a lot for Italy. I care a lot for the Italian people. I care a lot for the Muslim women in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Egypt. So, can't you show, are you without shame, we say in English, in Italian? Without shame. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? You care only for your lashes and only for your makeup. I don't tolerate them. Also, they spoiled my country. Totally spoiled my country. Yeah, me too, Andrea. You know that I thought about it yesterday. You are talking about the girl from Albania, the woman. She was very brave. Unfortunately, like this, it's not possible to follow the program. The dubbing failed because everybody, we were screaming like crazy people. And you cannot even speak properly. I can speak properly about the Quran, the Sunnah for hours, years.
Listen to her. This sentence is part of Islamic law. The girl's silence is her consent.
And this is where I add a very specific sentence from the Sunnah. I know the English audience already knows this. About the arrangement of marriages. There is a sentence in the Sunnah saying this: her silent, referring to the little girl, is her consent. Il suo silenzio è il suo consenso. Yes, her silence is her consent. So, what is it? What is it, a joke? Am I consenting if I am silent? Because maybe right now I am silent in my room and I am crying and screaming, and that is my consent. She was so narcissistic. I care only for myself. And she could not reply to my question. What's the verse of the Quran telling you that you cannot arrange marriages? Now look at her face. Look. This is not healthy.
Her argument right now centers on the plight of Muslim women experiencing hardship within Islamic nations, and their suffering is a matter I deeply care about. I am not even Muslim, but she is Muslim.
Look.
She doesn't care about them, and she knows why she can do that, because she's in a Christian country. No, then excuse me. I am an Egyptian Muslim, born and raised in this country. Here, I've had the opportunity to read both the Bible and the Quran. I even sought guidance from genuine theologians, although I don't recall precise. So basically, we can look at it together in a separate place that isn't here, but it's not like that. It's not like what she's saying right now is dogma. I don't know who translated it to you in this way. I'm telling you that, unfortunately, there's a lot of cultural components
No, you like to make fun of people because you are in a country that protects you. Go dress like that to Islamabad. Let's see if we can go back to saying that Islam has nothing to do with it.
I'm going to Afghanistan without shouting. Let me get this straight. Therefore,
In Afghanistan, people aren't even able to see a doctor.
don't you understand where Islam is studied? Excuse me, where did you sweat for Islam?
On the Quran and the Sunnah.
Where is it? Who taught you?
Picardo. Allah and Picardo together.
Allah.
Picardo.
Roberto. Hamza. Picardo. Hamza and Picardo. Anziato.
Yes.
I'll challenge you. Hamza Picardo didn't.
In English, the dubbing failed. In Italian, it was funnier because the Imam, the Egyptian, the grandfather of the Gazans, more or less, in a metaphoric way, he asked me, "Where did you learn Islam?" On the Quran, on the Sunnah. Everybody can do that. You don't need a special degree, something to understand that kill them all means kill them all. Beat them means beat them. Abuse children, abuse children. So when he asked me that question, he asked me, "Where did you learn Islam?" And I replied, "With Allah." And then Picardo, I mentioned, he is a very famous, he's like the chief of an organization in Italy. The organization name is Union of All the Islamic Communities of Italy, something like that. And so he is a Muslim, and he translated the Quran. He put his signature, and he also explained here and there the tafsir. So this was my first experiment, because first reaction shock. Picardo. I have to, well, it's 1 hour and a half. Wow, 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 wow. And Picardo. And I wanted to show you this because my patience is very limited. I am not a patient person. Also, the other problem is that I have some knowledge about Islam, but I cannot share it like this, because in the television I was calm, firm. I remember the verses of the Quran, and then everybody was screaming. How can I talk like this? So I think that I will spend some time here in this channel. If you want to subscribe, leave a comment, because at the beginning YouTube will not give me attention. So I will do a lot of things just to wake the algorithm up, and this is it. So I will be boring in my pajama. This is not a pajama, but I have been sleeping with this because yesterday I was very tired and I did not shower. Then today I wake up and I didn't. So at the beginning we will be a little ugly. It doesn't matter, tanto non vedrà nessuno un cazzo. So the first time I will be here just to wake YouTube for me. Subscribe, leave a comment, spread anything that you want, and let's go to it. Thank you, everybody. Rock on. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you, Andrea. And Picardo.